Hi. I am going a little crazy. I won't lie. I've tried to film this too many times and I keep stopping because I keep messing up. So if I mess up, I'm just gonna leave it in. It doesn't change the overall vibe of this video. Okay. Essentially, I wrote a mini essay at like 8 o'clock this morning and then went back to sleep. I've touched up just to make it a bit easier to read out loud, and I sent it to myself on my little old broken phone because I'm filming on my current phone. It has a better camera. And yeah, so without further ado, here's that. It is absolutely incomprehensibly ridiculous that all I want to do is have a simple life in a cabin by a lake with a cat and some babies or something along those lines. But old men with their petty squabbles are running the world, and they seem to have enough people convinced of this, that, or the other thing that now humanity is on the brink of its own destruction. Countless people don't have a roof over their heads, food in their bellies, or clean fucking water to drink. I struggle with anxiety and depression and poverty and chronic pain, and yet I'm still one of the lucky ones. We fight amongst ourselves over semantics and conspiracy, when in principles there's a strong middle ground that most of us stand on, a common good. Polarization is popular. Everything seems black and white, us and them. There needs to be widespread sweeping change across all nations, but no one can agree on how or where to start. In the past, only war has brought on such changes, but the stakes of war have become too high since science found clever ways of devastating our landscapes. And at any rate, if we're to become a species among the stars, war needs to be a last resort, if even on the table at all. It's just too bad that there are a handful of trigger-happy man-babies at the helm of society. We're wildly uneducated, not just in the sense of science and math. Our public school systems made to produce obedient factory workers are outdated in an era where we no longer work in factories. In the scheme of things, very few people need to have more than a basic understanding of math and science. Core studies are important, of course, and we should learn them young. But we also need to learn art and music and philosophy. We need to be taught how to think and how to imagine. We're so wildly uneducated in the ways of free thinking. I see so many self-entitled free thinkers convinced of conspiracy because they jumped down some YouTube rabbit hole, when that's not at all what it means to think freely. In reality, they're just sheep with different shepherds, not able to see that the shepherd pays tithes to the king. Free thinking is understanding philosophy, not understanding every nook, cranny, and nuance, but understanding the validity of such ways of thinking. It's understanding the absurdity of it all, the insignificance. It's finding awe and wonder in everyday things. Because what else do we have if not the present moment? It's being able to put the needs of the many above the wants of the few. Life is nothing without death, without fear. Free thinking isn't blind to the fact that human thought process is often flawed. Feelings and biases can take over and make anyone act and think irrationally. Free thinking is being open to conversation and others' perspectives, even if it makes your existence uncomfortable. To think freely without the restraint of oneself. Take it all past what's right in front of you. It's to break away from what's right in front of your face. It's to set aside the inner turmoil and conflict and surrender to the circumstance of your own existence. Only then will you find peace. Peace is balance. Balance between taking care of yourself while not harming others. Balance between standing up for yourself while holding your tongue. Between skepticism and trust. Balance between letting life flow and paving your own way. It's a tight rope we're all so scared to fall off of. Too scared for many to even try. When in reality, it's not that high off the ground, and we can get right back on any time we fall. We are so distracted by our own personal hardship that we forget how innately human it is to struggle. Peace is understanding your anger, your fear, and your sadness. Peace is coming to terms with the human condition. But none of that matters, does it? People are suffering, species are going extinct, the planet as we know it is dying. Mother Nature will prevail, don't get me wrong. She has survived at least 5 mass extinctions. We, however, will not last. There are powers that be that no one like you or me know how to face. How can little old me conquer climate change, racial injustice, women's rights, humanitarian issues, the hoarding of wealth and power and money, and the list goes on? Where's the uniting force in this issue? We are so utterly divided that we can't see the bigger picture. The problem that has ebbed and flowed throughout our history as humans. The 1% versus the 99. The hoarding of power and resource. The wants of the few over top of the needs of the many. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Where is the face in this issue? The person historians will label the hero who brought light in these dark times. Maybe they're already out there, finding their voice, or maybe such fantasies only exist in history books. Maybe it's more of a collective effort, about remembering the power that we have in numbers. The many outweigh the few when we band together. It serves the power that be for us to be uneducated and divided. We're pitted against our neighbors, not realizing we are our neighbors. And that's basically all I wrote. And at that point, I feel like I'm just incoherently rambling, like late night philosophers closing down bars and talking better politics than the men on the debate stage. If I can end this off anywhere, I will end it with a J.R. Tolkien quote that nearly almost makes me tear up. Almost always makes me tear up. Of course, I'm messing up the worst right at the end. There is good in this world, and it's worth fighting for.